Hello and welcome to Adventures of Deanna. I'm Deanna and I'm on a quest to lose over 100 pounds, and this is my weekly weigh-in video. I really want to keep this kind of short for this week because there really isn't a lot to say. I was, really, it started off rocky. The beginning of the week was a little bit difficult and I was struggling with, finding my consistency, and it dawned on me, I used to be a lot more consistent whenever I had my habit tracker. And my printer's not hooked up right now. It's all upstairs, blah, excuses. I had all these excuses. So finally on, I think it was Wednesday, I decided, enough is enough. Enough is enough. So I got myself a habit tracker, and let me tell you, this is the fanciest habit tracker you will ever see. Fancy habit tracker. Yep, this yellow sheet of paper is my habit tracker that's going to get me through to the end of the month. And I really like this because it started whenever I decided to start. So the 17th, that's whenever it started. And it tracks water, sleep, steps, if I ate whenever I was hungry, stopped whenever I was satisfied, and did I track my food, because I'm tracking out of curiosity now. And that's it. That's all I'm going to track. So the good thing about this is it tracks 3 things that are really easy to me. So water, sleep, and steps. Steps isn't completely easy, but it's really, really doable, and I found it's much easier to do these days. So those are easy wins that I can get, is water, sleep, and 10,000 steps. But eating whenever I'm hungry, stopping whenever I'm satisfied, and tracking my food, that's where I've been really inconsistent. So this is going to help me to just be a little bit more consistent by filling in these dots. My brain likes to check these boxes off. My brain likes to fill in these boxes. So it gives me a little bit of extra accountability just to do that. So that's what I'm going to be doing, moving forward. And I started in the middle of the week. I started on Wednesday because I was like, what are you waiting for? What are you waiting for? So let's get started now. So that's what we're going to be doing going forward. I'll tell you my weigh-in at the very, very end because that's what everybody wants to hear, I think. But I want to talk, before I get to my weigh-in, I want to talk about my plans for this upcoming week. So here we celebrate Thanksgiving, and that's going to be this upcoming Thursday. And in an earlier video of mine, I was talking about how one of my skills that I have is wisdom. So I thought, well, let's go back in the Wayback Machine and see, what wisdom do I have to provide about Thanksgiving? So we're going to take a look at some clips from last year and the year before to see if we can gain any insight into the holidays. Here we go. They were talking about 3 easy steps to get ready for Thanksgiving. Step 1 is you got to know what you're thinking before the day comes. So we need to start right away, and we need to write down what our fears are surrounding Thanksgiving. So step 2 is reminding yourself what you are there for. Step 3, this is the most important step, I think. We need to create a plan for the day. So what are we going to do? Are we for lunch, breakfast, dinner? Are we going to have cocktails? Are we not going to have cocktails? What are we going to do for lunch? How are we going to make sure that we get enough sleep? And how are we going to make sure that we get enough water? The 3 things to do after the day after Thanksgiving. 1, move on. 2, skip the leftovers. 3, stop the judgment. A lot of my weight loss is based on 3 main things: planning, action, and reflection. So my shorts videos were part of the planning process. So first I had to determine, what was Thanksgiving really to me? Was it, a meal? Was it a day, or was it an entire weekend? And for me, it was a weekend. I was traveling out of town. So that meant that there was going to be more than just the Thanksgiving meal itself that I had to think about and prepare for. I needed to make a plan considering that. I needed to make a plan regarding my routine. Because I was traveling, my routine was going to be disrupted. And when was I going to fit in the things that are important to me, the healthy habits that I've been working so hard at creating over the past over a year now? How am I going to be able to keep up with those routines in order to keep me on track? So I had to think about that. I had to think about my emotions. How was I going to be feeling? I wanted to anticipate if people said things about my weight loss or wanted to interrogate me about the diet that I'm using. And speaking of chugging along, I have my accountability partners that I check in with. I have 5 accountability partners that I check in with. And the interesting thing is that 4 out of 5 of my accountability partners all had fabulous Thanksgivings. They followed their plan, they stuck to their plan. But what happened was the next day, after they were done with the Thanksgiving, that's whenever the issues started to arrive. That's whenever the overeats happened. That's whenever they went off plan. On Thanksgiving, they were able to maintain their plan, but the day after, that was whenever it got hard for them. So it's a very interesting concept that, you do so good and then whoop, not. Look at the progress I have made. I am just like, whenever I looked at those videos, I was like, wow, that's some great progress. But then I was also like, Deanna, oh my gosh, you were just so uncomfortable. So uncomfortable. A few takeaways from the past. That number 1, planning is essential. Number 2 is visualization. To actually, plan, but then visualize how you think things are going to go. It's going to help you kind of rehearse the situation before you're actually in it. Number 3 is make a complete plan. Like, it's not just Thanksgiving. We have to think about, if we're taking the day off and we're just going to completely, take the day off from whatever, how are we going to re-enter back into our normal lifestyle? How are we going to re-enter back into our normal lifestyle? And how soon does that start? So, like I said, 4 out of 5 of my accountability partners all did great on Thanksgiving, but it was the day after. And what that is really is, it's about a relief. Relief that the event is over. Relief that all the stress is over. Relief is one of the causes of that. There could be other causes, and each person is going to be individual. You have to figure out what drives you. And another thing that was interesting to me was I talked about fears. So that's going to be something that I'm going to journal on over the next couple of days, is fear. And is there anything that I'm afraid of? My goals are to make a plan, to think about not only just the Thanksgiving. My goals are ahead of time to do some journaling around fear and if there's anything that I'm afraid of, and try and work through those issues. Secondly, it is to make a plan, just that I know what is going to be happening not only on Thanksgiving Day, but the day before and the following days after, because those can also be challenging days. Generally speaking, in just a normal week, the weekend is a lot more difficult than the week is. For some reason, we just have a different mindset that comes in on the weekends than during the rest of the week. And this is going to be a longer weekend. So, I just want to be prepared for that, to make sure that, I'm sticking to my routines, I'm getting my exercise, I'm tracking, I'm drinking my water, I'm getting plenty of sleep, all of the basic things that I do in order to help me to lose weight. My weigh-in for this week, last week I weighed in at 208.2, and this week I weighed in at 207.2. So that's my weight. I'm still far away from being 200, which is my goal by the end of the year. And I don't have many weeks left to do it. So I am going to have to be on my A game in order to reach my goal. Yikes. Yikes. With that said, I want to remind you all that I am going to be doing a live stream on Tuesday, the 23rd at 6 p.m. CST, the ABCs of weight loss, and we're going to be doing words that start with the letter F. So I hope that you can join me then. For now, that's all I have. So I will see you guys in the next video. As always, it's going to be an adventure. Bye.